currently with us as government supporting our former Prime Minister. I'm foreseeing 2027 as us working together with ODM, not Azimio. I'm talking about ODM, forming a coalition in the near future as we head to the 2027 election. We will work together with ODM.
Just a teaser there of the political matters we'll also be focusing on how the future of Kenya's politics looks like. But let's begin with the newspaper review this morning. And just to clarify that, apart from the People Daily, other papers, we have not participated in the publication, and we're just highlighting what they have highlighted. Beginning your own publication here at MediaMax, that is People Daily, Kenya's #1 free newspaper. Splashes of officials scorn Ruto on travels. Despite the head of state's austerity measures on non-essential trips, public officer gobbled 27 billion globe-trotting in expensive capitals. That is on page 3, but we'll be touching on that just later on. But now let's focus on this story also on the People Daily. Why police have a reason to smile. That is on page 4 of the People Daily, where police officers have a reason to smile after the government announced new salary review, where those serving at the lowest rank as constables shall now take home 25,000, up from 21,645. The National Police Service Commission yesterday moved to implement the report of a task force report whose recommendations include a review and increase of salaries of the police officers. The task force on security agencies' welfare reforms was chaired by the immediate former Chief Justice, that is David Maraga. Last year, President Ruto appointed Maraga to chair the panel to look into the operations of police, prison warders, and National Youth Service, that is the NYS officers, and report to him on how to improve their welfare while in service. And so the increment of 4,000 is actually, it's between 4,000 and 25,000. And now to Vivian. Police officers now have a reason to smile. During the demos, the clips will emerge online on how they suffered, yet they will be used to kill the demos that were staged by Gen Z. Is this enough?
Not nearly.
So the increase by between 4,000 to 25,000 is not enough?
I mean, the police officers live in deplorable conditions, majority of them. And this has been an ongoing conversation for, a long period of time about how just remuneration of security agencies, not just police officers, but security enforcement agencies, should be looked at. And as much as, a pay increase is of course very welcome, but I think a lot more needs to go into just the living conditions and working conditions of police officers. I know they're not very popular with majority of the public because of how they handle issues, but I mean, it's a good step. It's a welcome step that their pay and remuneration is being reviewed, but the government needs to do a lot more in terms of training, just making them more humane so that they are more of a service, not a force, and also looking at how they can work with, communities, with the public, so that there's less friction when it comes to how police manage public when there are things like protests and things like that. Yeah, I think they were overly forceful.
Honorable Zahir, the arguments that when a state fails, especially in addressing matters raised by the youthful population, in this case the Gen Zs, then there is always a keen move to ensure that there are more prisons, and now even motivation for police officers. Could this be in regards to the demos that happened just the other day, so that at no point will the state be overwhelmed by pressure from the public?
Well, I honestly don't think that is right. I mean, that is true, because I remember very well in our Kenya Kwanza manifesto, His Excellency the President had made it very clear that one of the key areas that he will also want to support is the reforms of the police. And I think it is a good thing that happened, but as Vivian has put it, it is still not enough. There's much more, because when you look at the increase of the salary, it's about maybe about 4,000 shillings, you know, for a constable. And when you look at, for example, a Deputy Inspector General of Police, there is a huge salary increase. So I think still there is much more to be done. And this has not been brought about the Gen Z thing.
The timeliness.
You know? No. I mean, it's about time that the police get more resources.
So will you strike a balance between hiring at least for 6,000 intern teachers at the moment, or increasing salaries for police officers?
We're trying to balance in between. Of course, you know, currently we have, I think the issue of the teachers is very fundamental right now, considering there's a lot of confusion in the education sector. And I think Parliament has already budgeted about 18 billion shillings for the JSS, for the pensionable, and, you know, I think, Joel, from where I sit, it's critical, and we actually need to support also the police. So let us also look at how best we can.
Vivian, at a time that, you know, JSS teachers are not sure. In fact, they were told up to around next year, it's when the conversion to permanent and pensionable will take place. There was no money, according to the Treasury Cabinet Secretary. But this time around, there's already money for police officers to be, for their salaries to be increased.
You know, like I said,
are you reading between the lines?
I wouldn't. Okay, you see, this is not a conversation that started this year or even last year. It's been an ongoing conversation. And like you said when we started, at the height of the protests, there were a lot of, you know, clips, people, you know, making fun of how police officers live. This is something even the public knows, that police officers are not remunerated well. And remember, one of the biggest things we are dealing with right now is the high cost of living. So if everybody is looking for a way to make ends meet, I think it's only proper and fair for the police force to, you know, get something, some sort of increase. They deserve it. The police are not, like, you know, very popular with, you know, the entire public, but they do an important job. You know, right now, as much as you may not like the police, but if your phone gets stolen, you'll still go to, you know, a police, you know, station to report. It's just that there needs to be some sort of improvement. Yes, now we are seeing salaries increase, but there needs to be a lot more done in just reforming, you know, the police service so that it's more humane, and Kenyans are able to relate a lot more to just even the challenges that the police officers face in the line of duty. Because remember, I think I was here with you when we were talking about the police officer who was assaulted. You see, it's not just the police who treat the public badly. The public also, you know, kind of retaliate. So there needs to be more done about how the police and the public relate. So salary increase is welcome, but the government needs to do a little bit more. I think this would go through the Ministry of Interior.
I know that we've already touched on matters, of course, police officers. The acting IG is on the spot, and that is on the Daily Nation cover page. Impunity is the splash. Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has snubbed court orders 6 times over disappearance of 3 men joining the list of government officials, defying legal directives, including on handling of protesters and cessation of abductions. The images there of Bob Mishen Njagi, Jamie Longton, and Nadim Hamed. The Law Society of Kenya moved to court over the disappearance of the activists. The 3 of them, they are actually from Kitengela, have not yet been found. And so Masengeli has now been given yet another day, that is on Monday, to appear before the, you know, or to appear before Justice Lawrence Mugambi. Honorable Zahir Janda on the acting IG snubbing court orders. He was even required to appear before the court yesterday And now, Justice Mugambi is, contemplating of whether to consider it as a contempt of court.
I think from where I sit, all of us, none of us, we are all equal. No one is above the law. And it is only fair, respectful, to obey the court orders. And I think the Inspector General of Police, the acting IG, should honor those summons and appear, because he's sending a very wrong precedent to many other police officers and other Kenyans. I think it is wrong. And I think that if he doesn't appear, I think let the court also stamp its power and authority that he should be jailed. Yes, so that it sets an example and a precedent for others to follow. Otherwise, if they don't do that, then of course other institutions and other Kenyans will say, what is the need of this court order if this guy cannot, even us? So I think it is a wrong thing. And I think let us all follow the law.
Vivian,
so
according to Honorable Zahir, jail Masengeli if he fails to appear.
Yeah,
in court come Monday.
In Kenya, we have three arms of government: the national executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and all play a crucial role in how we are governed as a nation. And repeatedly, leaders have said, we are a country that is governed by the rule of law. So if we start, ignoring court orders, then what does that say of the common mananchi? Then the next time you're summoned, as a common mananchi, then you should also, ignore. But that's not the route we want to go. So let's follow the law. I don't think anyone is above the law, because it's this law that guides us about how to go about our business as Kenya. So whatever caused this to happen, I think he should even apologize. I think there should be a public apology from the office of the IG, acting IG, because this is not the precedence you want. It sends a wrong message across, even the service members who are under him. This is not what he should do. When a court order is issued, whether you're the president or whoever, as Kenyans, we expect you to honor it. And if you can't, then you have no business even holding that position. In fact, to send a strong message, he should be probably even removed from that acting position, because if you can't honor a court order, and yet it's this same police force that presents accused persons and suspects in court, then it means you don't even respect the same judiciary that you work with. Mm-hmm. So there needs to be very strong action, like from I don't know whether it's the Ministry of Interior or it's the President, whoever it is whose the jurisdiction falls under, something needs to be done. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we are just, talk is cheap, we are just talking.
On page 6 of the People Daily, just the other day, there was the case of impeachment of the of the Meru Governor Kawera Mwangaza. And now the focus is shifting to Nairobi. Nairobi County Assembly divided over Sakaja impeachment bid. Nairobi ward leaders are split down the middle over whether to impeach Governor Johnson Sakaja or not. When the County Assembly resumes sittings next week, some of the city MCAs who spoke to the People Daily have revealed plans to impeach Sakaja are in progress. They say they will discuss the grounds of impeachment or of impeaching the first-term governor when they will resume sittings next Thursday. Kileleshwa MCA, that is Robert Alai, who has been leading the push, accused Sakaja of incompetence, corruption, and abuse of office. He dismissed claims that the governor has been receiving protection from the senior figures in government and that the opposition, adding that it was Sakaja creating that impression to scare MCAs. Farm Ground Deputy Minority Leader and Nairobi South MCA Waithera Shege said her colleagues have enough reasons to impeach the governor. But Minority Leader Anthony Kiragu, however, defended Sakaja, saying he was innocent. Honorable Zahir Janda, the spotlight now shifts to Nairobi. Interestingly, almost all of us stay within Nairobi. And so When Nairobi is touched, it affects everyone. What
Well,
are your views on Sakaja's impeachment?
I think that is true. We are all affected if there's an issue with the Nairobi operations of Nairobi County government, because services are affected. But I think I read malice on this issue, because and I don't even see where this thing is going to go, because the MCAs that are actually accusing the governor from where I sit and the little politics that I understand of Nairobi County, these are people that they're trying to hold the governor ransom on a blackmail mission. So I don't think this thing is going to go far, and I don't think it is right.
So Sakaja could complete his term.
Come again?
So Sakaja could complete his term as governor?
Absolutely.
Up to 2027?
Probably until 2032.
Vivian,
The governor is, so far, maybe just to allow me to add on to something, I think the governor is doing very well. You know, he's a first-time governor. He's been, from the track record as a member of parliament before, and of course as a senator, I think the governor is actually doing very, very well. And let us give him time to implement some of the projects that he has to do.
You know, earlier on, it was believed that Sakaja was not in good books with President Ruto, and he was shielded by the majority now in the county assembly, which is Azimio's side. And now that there is the broad-based government, that he no longer has that shield, and so...
No, I don't agree with you, Joel, on that issue. I think Sakaja has been, from the word go, the governor, Sakaja has been working very well with the national government. And of course, there are issues and some teething problems, especially some of the issues in Nairobi County. I have heard some of the members of parliament complain a lot. So of course, they complain to the president, His Excellency President Ruto, and of course, there were those issues. But I think Sakaja has a very well working relationship with government, and even before, he was working very well with the opposition. Then, Azimio. So I think...
there even talks of he was and
well, there was but there was that tribal. I felt like should be in Sakaja, and like, no, let us guys go, whoever is elected to become the chairman of Nairobi County. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vivian Ta on Nairobi. In fact, we've scrutinized Nairobi.
Mheshimiwa is not a voter in Nairobi, so.
But I'm a resident in Nairobi.
So, you can't say that the guy will make it to 2032. Kura yake kwanza iko huko Kisii, Nyaribari Chache. So, Mimi, I'm going to speak as someone, resident voter in Nairobi. There are issues. There are issues that, can't be swept under the carpet. Just a couple of months ago, we were here discussing about the issue of the pending bills, like in Nairobi. Granted, this is not entirely, Sakaja's fault, but, as the manager, the person in charge of the county, we expect better resolution of these issues. There've also been lots of audit issues and, corruption allegations that have been raised within Nairobi County. And of course, I expect, and I'm sure several other residents, expect better service delivery within Nairobi, not just PR and billboards all over the place, That's not working for the people. There have been lots of incidences of fires and fire engines showing up without water.
So you're saying Nairobi high work?
I mean, high work, I mean, he's trying to sell a message that everything is nice and dandy and working, but that's not the reality. You saw the other day the incident of the toy market, you know, the fire, and just how the traders there reacted. So there are issues. This is not to say that he will not make it to 2027, but I would not be surprised if an impeachment motion, you know, sailed through. About whether he will, you know, make it for a second term to 2032, as Mheshimiwa says, that remains to be seen.
Is he exposed now that there's a broad-based government, and it's believed Raila was shielding him for some time?
What broad-based government? Chacha, what broad-based government?
The Raila Ruto Pact. In fact, they're in China together.
Of course, it makes sense for Baba to go to China because, you know, lots of African leaders were going to attend that event, and he's campaigning to be, you know, AU chairperson. So it makes sense to go where you can meet, you know, the people who are going to vote. I mean, anybody, whether it was Baba or anybody else, would have been there. So it's not, don't read too much into everything that, you know, that you see. But that said, you know, this is not even just about like cooperation or broad-based government or Ruto supporting Raila for AU and all that. This is about Nairobi County and just what we'd like to see and how we'd like the county governed, not by, you know, PR and making things look like, you know, in our work, and really when you go to the ground, garbage is still an issue, you know, fires are still an issue. So yes, there's dish in a county and all that, but there are also issues around that which, you know, the governor needs to look at. So I would not be surprised if an impeachment motion sailed through. Whether he would survive that or not, you know, remains to be seen. You know, in politics, anything can happen. Well,
at that juncture, we take a short commercial break, and we come back. We'll be reviewing the events of the week with my guests in studio, but you can also join in this conversation via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha Zolona SMS, and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
When it's a Saturday, there's only one entertainment show in East and Central Africa. Arena 254. Join Aisha Wanjiko and Tony Mwirigi for all the artistic interviews fused with amazing entertainment conversations and sizzling hot live DJ mixes. Catch this and so much more every Saturday from 10 p.m.
Skuzini metizi na wakanesa manzi mkamba anishuko mirema.
Only on K24 TV.
We interrupt this program to bring you some breaking news.
Meet the team of undercover teenage spies working for a fictional version of the secret intelligence agency known as the MI9.
This keeps happening!
They had to strike a balance between school life and their job as secret agents.
First day back at school and we're gonna be late. Shh.
MI High. Every Saturday from 10 a.m. Only on K24. Follow the champions on the home of football. Watch the latest Man City content exclusively. Full match replays, extended highlights, coaches' interviews.
The target is not to win the Premier League, it's just, okay, next game, try to win it, this is what we have to do.
Players' interviews.
In general, the quality has been high and it's been good.
Behind the scenes and more. Every Saturday at 1 p.m. Only on K24. The home of football. A dynamic, lively, inspiring and informative program which is hosted by Muyiwa Olarewaju.
God has validated you, has empowered you, and all you have to do is surrender.
It focuses on critical global social issues and powerful testimonies.
I lay there bleeding, potentially going to see Jesus. I called on him because I realized at 9 years old that I could.
While offering uplifting music from indigenous and international artists.
Be still and know that I am God.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
Are you ready? The Tharaka Nithi Uragate Cultural Festival is back from the 4th to the 7th of September 2024. Come enjoy our Tharaka cultural cuisines, dances, and get to learn more of the larger Ameru cultural heritage. What's more, Meru FM, in partnership with Lions Hospital, will be offering a free screening for all eyesight and diabetes problems for the entire 4 days. Powered by Tharaka Nithi County Government, Meru FM, Born Free Foundation, KWS, Shalem Investments Limited, Chuka University, Tharaka University, and OUK.
In Zari, nothing is certain.
I don't think we'll ever be the same again.
Will you survive the jealousy?
Unajiona tajiri, eh? Zitaisha tu tuone utaringa na pesa gani.
The secrets.
Ukiambia mtu yeyote boss.
Nini uniambilo na?
The deception.
To family.
Will Nina survive Lola?
How is this possible?
The ultimate face-off. Zari continues weeknights at 8:30 on Maisha Magic Plus, DSTV channel 163, GoTV channel 3.
Good morning. This is K24's Newton. My name is Joel Chacha, and today we review the events of the week in studio. I'm joined by Vivian Tar, a communication and public affairs expert, and as well Honorable Zahir Janda, Nyaribari Chache, Member of Parliament. We begin with the biggest conversation now in town on Ruto's maiden budget performance, and as you can see on your screens, President William Ruto, in the financial year 2023-2024, he spent 3.89 trillion Kenya shillings, in which the recurrent expenditure was 3.37 trillion, while the development budget was 516.86 billion Kenya shillings, even as on what many would consider as opulence. State House hospitality expenditure hit 1.17 billion Kenya shillings. Further, the Office of the President and the Deputy President gobbled taxpayers' money, 1.05 billion Kenya shillings. Purchase of new motor vehicles, 548 million shillings. This, according to the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango's report. Honorable Zahir Janda, on the numbers on your screens.
Well, I think that's why the President has been talking about austerity measures to cut down on a lot of costs, but it is not practically humanly possible to cut off everything at a go.
But the hospitality expenditure there, 1.17 billion. You've been to State House a number of times.
This is
Sasa mutaki wageni wagunywe chai in State House.
Aye, not at our expense, Mheshimiwa, no. Actually, we should see a comparison to how much was spent on education, how much was spent on healthcare, how much was spent on agriculture and tourism, you know, sectors of the economy that drive Kenya. And, you know, this is not the, what annoys me so much is this is not the first time this is coming up. In 2023, that was the first year, just after they'd taken office, the same, you know, allocations came up. The same line items, new motor vehicle purchase, hospitality at State House. In fact, at that time, I think they were saying hospitality at State House, they were spending like, I think 4.8 million or something, like every month on hospitality at State House. So it's like we never learn. This is not the first time these issues are coming up from the controller of budget. And these are the things that, you know, Wananchi are not happy about. You're telling us to tighten our belts, but you're living large. Why is it acceptable for the head of state and the deputy president to live large and spend so much money, but as a normal Kenyan, I'm supposed to tighten my belt?
In fact,
where do you draw the line?
The travel expenditure, as you can see on your screens, it rose by 7 billion Kenya shillings compared to financial year 2022, financial year 2023. State House domestic travel expenditure alone hit 1.35 billion Kenya shillings. And State House foreign travel expenditure was 298 million Kenya shillings, perhaps.
Honestly,
you know, on the travel expenditure, Honorable Zahid Janda, you see, we have 2 billion there for the hospitality, Office of the President, Deputy President, State House. And now we have an additional 7 billion in travel expenditure, with State House spending 1.3 billion. These are the monies that they use while visiting their constituency.
Private jets.
No, I don't.
In fact, that's for domestic alone.
I don't agree with Vivian on that, which of the private jets, because you can see when the president left the other day for China, he was
that was
after
the uproar and the furor of Kenyans.
Kenya Airways, and even the uproar was a wrong timing, because actually when the president flew to the US at that time, he made it very clear. You know, there are some friends who.
Yani, you believed that story of friends.
Yeah, yes.
What became of KQ being expensive this time round? He has used the same KQ to China.
There's the distance between China and the US.
Mheshimiwa, no. You cannot use that, no.
And so, still on you, Honorable Zahir, an increase by 7 billion in terms of the travel expenditure.
Yeah.
There's even a circular that was given by the chief of staff, that is Felix Koski, at some point.
Yeah.
And, you know, even according to the People Daily, officials scorn Ruto on travels.
I agree. I mean, that is a bit very, very high, and it shouldn't happen. It's not acceptable. I have seen some memos in Parliament through the clerk of the National Assembly, in some of our WhatsApp groups, cutting down on trips. And I think as we move forward, this should go down like with maybe half of it.
Chacha, they said that last
Vivian.
year. They've been saying that since this regime got into office in 2022, that is exactly, this is the story they have been singing. Austerity measures, cut down on travel, cut down on this, but when you go to the reality, it's not there. As in, they say one thing, but do a totally different thing. So Mheshimiwa is in Parliament, he's going to say, oh, we've seen they're cutting down, this is a bit too much. It's not a bit too much, it's extreme. Yeah, it's over the top, it's unacceptable. And I think Parliament is also actually one of the highest spenders in terms of travel. Yeah. I don't know how much it was for Parliament, but I know they were like, you know, second after Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So
in fact, it's 2.1 billion
shillings. Parliaments are high spenders.
3.3 billion.
Yeah. So this thing, it starts with each and every Kenyan, you know, whether elected, appointed, or whatever, taking responsibility in the offices and the jurisdictions they've been given. Without that, we will never get anywhere. We will keep talking about these things, keep talking about them every year, every budget. It will be the same issues: tea at State House, you know, travel, and we'll keep saying austerity measures, but even as we are on austerity measures, what are we doing about corruption? I honestly feel a lot of the resources we have get lost in corrupt deals, and there doesn't seem to be a game plan or any kind of plan whatsoever to handle, corruption, or at least, bring it, control it somehow. Because right now where we are in a very serious financial state as a nation. If we are not able to tackle, things seriously, austerity and corruption, we are just going to be in a sinkhole.
Honorable Zahir, revenue collected in the financial year 2023-2024 was 2.29 trillion Kenya shillings. And with that, and of course the money is spent here, on the flip side, counties were not given 30 billion Kenya shillings out of the 385 billion that they were allocated, and that has since affected them. In fact, in this financial year, they say so far they have not received any allocation from the National Treasury. It's now we are in September, so that is July, August, and now September. They're cash crunched. On that, are we killing devolution?
I think that is not true. Joel, the rejection of the finance bill has complicated the whole issue. And I agree with my sister who had said earlier on.
But the 30 billion was in the previous financial year.
Everyone
the ones that they did not receive for the month of June.
Yeah, I will come to that. Everyone has to get a cut. And there's been a lot of extravagance, corruption in the county government. Let me give you an example. The control of budget, just the other day in the Senate, she was talking
the Auditor General.
Sorry, I'm sorry. The Auditor General was talking about one county government having 300 accounts. How do you have 200, 300 bank accounts? That is corruption. I mean, even the government of Kenya, we don't have those kind of accounts. I mean, it is ridiculous. So some of these things, the county governments are the county governors are complaining. I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot. So I think everyone has to get a cut. Let them be patient. We don't have money. Government doesn't have money.
Even before getting to the cuts,
we have to.
In the last financial year, Honorable Zahir, the monies that they were to receive, 30 billion, did not go.
Yes.
That is the last financial year we did not have the finance bill of 2024.
Yeah.
And so the late disbursement of funds is the question here. How can that be solved? Is it time that the National Treasury adheres to the disbursement schedule that they are given by the Senate?
I think that is correct on that issue, but at the same time, we don't have enough revenue. What do we do if we don't have? The last financial year, they could not collect enough revenue. So what do we do?
It's so what Vivian terms as corruption.
That is, I agree with her, absolutely. But we have to live within our means.